Welcome, castaways, to the first official one-show podcast that we're going to have here. I am Richard, as you heard last week.
I am Ben, and I would like to welcome you all to the same podcast you've been listening to for about the past month, and the same podcast you'll listen to for about the next 2 days.
Sounds about right. Just want to quickly mention, unfortunately, our two girls could not be here today. Caroline and Kerry were not able to make it today. We love them dearly, and they just weren't able to make it today. But we are surely hopeful that everything will work out, and they'll be able to join us next week when we actually have episodes to cover and a show to cover.
And we should probably elaborate on what we said. Welcome to our preview of Survivor 43.
Ben and I are very excited for this.
So excited.
We've been waiting a very long time for the previews to be out and for the season to start, and it's starting out this Wednesday. So yeah,
This is fun. I don't know if Richard knows this, but I'll tell him. They released the first bit of the opening reward challenge.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so we'll watch that after. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go castaway by castaway. We're gonna say
go on our opinions of them.
Yeah, just where we think they're gonna land, how good we think they're gonna do, winner picks, first boot picks, so on and so forth.
Oh boy.
Where do you want to start, pal?
Let's just go in alphabetical order.
All right, so first, starting on the Coco tribe, which, also, let me just get out of the way. We got some dumb fucking tribe names this season. We got Blue, which is the Coco tribe.
Wonderful.
Which should be brown, but Karor already did that. Nothing's going to be Karor. We have the Vessi tribe, which is fine. Like, that makes sense. And then, and I really fucking hate that I get to say this for the next 2 months, the Baka tribe.
Yeah, we laughed a lot about when
it
when these tribe names come out. We did laugh a lot about these names, but we move on.
You can't name something Baka in 2022, knowing what we know now. But fuck it, we ball. All right. So starting from the Coco tribe, we have 26-year-old designer from Austin, Texas, Cassidy Clark.
Now, I want to preface this by saying there is no one on this cast that I do not like, so you will hear me say a lot. Oh, I like them.
Yeah.
And I do really like Cassidy. I don't know. I'll let you start it off.
I think Cassidy has, without a doubt, a top 10 cast photo of all time. Absolutely giving in that cast photo. It reminds me a lot of Natalie Bolton from Micronesia. Just, they have that stare into the camera, and it's great.
Yeah.
As for Cassidy's gameplay, I'm feeling like she's going to be this season's Lydia from Survivor 42. I think they're going to be very similar. Sort of that, younger cast member where, they get into a good position with the younger people on the tribe. Although I think Coco is I think she's the youngest person on Coco. Oh, I know, it's Ryan. Ryan's 24. But I think she's going to fit in well. And then at the merge, I think they might see her as a strategic threat. So I think she'll go out early merge. I think that's her ceiling. Floor is that she's just going to be a lot like Molly from Island of the Idols and just get, deemed as Parvati 2.0.
Look next to my finger, Ben.
I
wrote the same thing. I wrote the same thing. I wrote giving Lydia 42. I gave a lot of my notes say who this particular person, their vibe, their energy reminds me of from previous seasons, and unsurprisingly, very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised in the slightest.
I feel like Lydia is officially a trendsetter for that younger woman to play Survivor.
Yes, but I think it's also a very specific niche type of younger woman where I'm seeing kind of the very intellectual, smart, knows the game, but that could both help them or hinder them depending on how they use that information.
Yeah. Would you agree that early merge is probably her ceiling?
No, I would go a little bit further than early merge. I'd say mid-merge is her ceiling. I could see it go that far, but I do kind of agree that I see her at an early merge or very late pre-merge.
Yeah, I would agree. I think she's, I don't know why, but Cassidy didn't really jump out to me originally. Upon reading the cast bios and everything,
same.
I think she'll be a good player, but I don't know if she'll be something remarkable. But
there are a lot of players that are really great, but they just get taken out, and then unfortunately they get forgotten along the road, and I worry that might happen.
Well, funny enough, she was. It says here on Survivor Wiki. Shout out Survivor Wiki for being the best website ever. Apparently, she was cast for Survivor 41, and then was cut because of COVID. So that's really interesting. So I guess that's more of a what if, like what if she played with the 41 cast, and I think that's going to be a bigger like what if, especially later down the line.
No, yeah, for
but
sure.
I think Cassidy, maybe not like one of the bigger characters of the season, but I think she's going to be, a presence.
Yeah, I agree. If you're ready to move on to the next one, I am.
This one's. I have a lot to say about this next guy. Next up, 35-year-old elevator salesman from Honolulu, Hawaii, Cody Ossenmeyer.
I need to mention this right now. Survivor really has a knack for the weirdest professions.
Debbie on Co
We
Raw.
pull out the weirdest professions. And this is a great one. I don't know how we find these people. But I will say, you know who Cody unfortunately reminded me of?
Who?
So there's two people that are very similar off of Island of the Idols. Ronnie and Aaron.
Interesting.
It could just be the looks, but the vibe kind of gives the same. I do think that Cody, at least for me, Cody has a bit more unique personality because there is that Hawaii side, and I think he moved to Hawaii if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I get a good vibe from him, but I'm also not getting a deep run out of him, if that makes sense.
I think that Cody is going to have one of the biggest pre-merge flameouts of any pre-merge flameout ever. Because Cody is a character. I think he is very much like... Cody is more of a character than Cody from Total Drama Island is a character, He's going to be loud, he's going to be out there, and I think he's just
he's going to be War Dog.
He's going to be War Dog, but I think he's going to be dumber than War Dog. I think he's going to be, he's going to be helpful to Vezi in the beginning, and then, he's just going to
have a feeling,
piss off his tribe.
Cody strikes me as the kind of guy that would make a Vezi alliance and then realize after they lose an immunity challenge, oh wait, I have now made a big alliance of everyone on this goddamn tribe, and now I have to vote somebody out.
Why do I feel like he's sort of like Devin from Big Brother 16?
That's exactly what I was going to say. No, I feel like, what I'm getting is Joey from Big Brother 16, which was, I'm going to make a girls' alliance, and then I'm going to tell everybody about the girls' alliance, and I'm now going to apologize that I made a girls' alliance. Devin and Joey from BB16 definitely agree.
Look, I think Cody's going to be funny as hell. I hope he sticks around for the comedic value. But in terms of his game savvy, I will be kind of surprised if he makes the merge.
Yeah. I'm ready to move on to the next one.
Yes, I am excited for this next one. Also on the Vezi tribe, a 21-year-old graduate student from Collier, somewhere in Tennessee, Dwight Moore.
I really like Dwight.
I'm really in on Dwight.
I really like Dwight. So Dwight, right off the bat, super, super smart. I wrote here for my notes, early or far, no in between. I think this is a very good case of somebody who I believe will be either an early boot for being seen as a threat, or he will go very far in this game. I don't see an in between. I do not see him falling in that close to merge area, chunk.
I agree. I think Dwight is either going to be a huge threat because of his social game, or he's going to go super far because no one's going to realize that social game. I think Dwight has a very good, head on his shoulders. I think he's very confident and sure of himself. He seems like a chill, good presence to have around camp. I think he's going to go far this season. I really like it.
What scares the hell out of me with Dwight is that he gives me, on an intellectual and player level, he's giving me similar vibes to Zach Wernberger from last season.
Yes, and okay, here's the thing.
Smart, young, knows how to play the game. I'm hoping we don't have a repeat of history.
With that said, I feel like Zach was a way more, out there sort of a geeky, Cochran Christian style super fan, whereas Dwight seems to downplay more. He reminds me, I think he said he, is going to play like Wendell, and he reminds me a lot of Wendell.
I agree. Wendell, for sure. I'm trying to think of, I had somebody in mind, but I forgot to write that down. But, yeah, no, I really like Dwight. I am really hopeful for Dwight. Yeah.
Yeah, we are big on the Dwight train, so we're hoping for the best there. Next up we have the first member from the Baka tribe. I hate that. Survivor, do better.
Get over it, Ben. Let's go. Move on. Let's go.
31-year-old clinical psychologist from Salt Lake City, Utah, Ellie Scott. Now, here's my thing about the Baka tribe. I think that they are going to be sort of like Taku from Survivor 42, where they're going to win a decent amount of challenges, but they're going to have a sort of core alliance that they're going to ride with until the merge. And I think Ellie is going to be the ringleader of said alliance. Because I think she is super smart.
Yes.
I think she is
extremely smart. Something that I noted is that I really liked... So, they were all asked, like, as everybody gets asked, like, who would you play like? Mm-hmm. And I think I have my answer. I think you have your answer, if you would. And just because why not? What would you say?
You put me on the spot. You go first.
I mean, I've said this before. I would love to play like Kim or Yule. There are a few throw-rounds in there as well, but those are my two favorite players I would love to play like. So
yeah, I think I would play a lot like Tommy, and I think I'm probably the first Survivor podcaster to ever mention Tommy in the year 2022. Yeah. But he's one of my personal favorites. I think I'd play a lot like Tommy or Nick or Cochran.
Here's why I point this out right now. Is because I liked her pick, because if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to read this off of, again, thank you to our wiki. She mentioned Kim Spradlin, and she mentioned Wentworth, but the one person I'm really glad, because I don't see this name that often when I feel like we should, and that's Sari.
Right.
And, she said Kim, Wentworth, Lucina, and those are all really great, but we see a lot of those names come up when it comes to who you would play like, and we don't see enough of Sari. I do think that Sari's strategic...
she never won.
Yeah, but neither did Wentworth. I think
Sari's
Sari's strategic game is sometimes, undervalued. And I like the choice of Sari because Sari is someone that is very likable, but also very smart when it comes to the game of Survivor. Mm-hmm. She knows this game like the back of her hand, obviously with as much experience as she has, but she's also got a really good social game. If you looked at her game on Game Changers, she was so well liked, and there's, everybody loves Sari.
Yes. I think Ellie's getting a lot of hype preseason, and I think that's for good reason, because I think Ellie is going to go at least to the mid-merge.
I think she's going at least merge. I will be very surprised if she goes before the merge.
Yeah. All right. Next up, a 35-year-old project manager from Honolulu, Hawaii, Gio Bustamante.
Gio gives me Romeo vibes. Gio, I'm going to be the first to say it. Gio is giving me Romeo in the best way possible. Something that I value about Romeo's game that I think I see in Gio is if Gio gets in this position, I think there's going to be similarity. Romeo was thrown onto the outskirts, but did a great job surviving from the outskirts. Mm-hmm. Now, not to say he did anything flashy or something like that, but he did a really good job to keep the eyes far enough off of him that he was able to make it through. And, not to sound cliche, but Survivor is all about survival. And that's not...
Never would have guessed.
Shush. But that's not just the physical survival of the wild, but is also the game's survival of just surviving through the game and being able to know when to make big moves, when to be flashy, but also when to tone it down and bring it back down to earth just to be able to make it to the next tribal. Which Romeo did really well, in my opinion, for the position he was put in.
Even though he voted with the majority, twice.
Yeah. And I see a lot of that in Gio. And, that's a testament. When you... Okay. He voted with the majority twice out of how many votes, and he was still able to keep his footing and keep himself in the game. That's got to be worth something.
That is fair. I think that's a good point. I think I'm a little less on Gio. I kind of see him as I think if Coco goes to Tribal, I think he's probably the first out.
Oh, I'm 100% with you.
I think he's very much going to overplay his hand early.
I'm 100% with you, but I'm just saying, I like Gio, and I see him, being able to...
Yeah.
Pull himself out of some tricky situations.
I think they're going to see him I think he's gonna, like, the first time Coco loses, I think he's gonna sort of, maybe not scramble, but sort of run around and try and do a little too much strategizing, and that's kind of gonna tip off any sort of majority on Coco, and they're gonna be like, all right, yeah, he's gotta go. I don't see him going further than the merge, but honestly, I hope he does well.
There's another individual on Coco that I genuinely could see going out, if not Gio. And it's actually the next individual on the list.
Well, you want to introduce him then?
Sure. How about 36-year-old event planner from Philly, James Jones? I think that James could be the potential first boot say Coco goes to tribal. I think, I don't know. I like James. I don't have any notes on him because I didn't really get around, like, was able to write for everybody.
James reminds me a lot of both Danny and Deshaun.
Deshaun,
from Survivor 41.
Thank you. That's the name I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking to myself, there's one individual I was thinking of. It was the other, like, Danny's, like, so to speak, partner in crime.
Yeah,
Deshaun,
who came in second place on the season.
Yeah. Yeah, now realizing what I've just done to myself, makes sense. No, yeah, I see a lot of different places where James could land himself, and one of those potentials that I see is actually, an early boot.
I disagree. I think James is going to be, again, very much like Dwight, a very chill, like, under-the-radar strategic presence, and I think he's going to be like Deshaun. He's going to have smooth sailing through the pre-merge, and then once he makes the merge, he's going to kind of snap, and, like, all hell's going to break
That's
loose.
fair enough. Honestly, I can't tell where I genuinely see James, like solidly. Like, I see him in so many different scenarios, and that's depending on how he plays his hand in the early game, where, and I think that's kind of like cliche, because that kind of goes for so many different people just because of the natural state of the game of, one false move and you could throw your whole game down the track.
I especially think he's going to be a big physical asset.
Yes, agreed. I see him really thriving in the physical challenges, and I think that's part of where we see the Danny Deshaun comparison, because they were both really good physically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Question, Richard. This next player's profession. Do you know what a UX designer is?
I swear I thought she said something about. Yeah, I don't know.
Next up, 24-year-old UX designer Janine Zhang from San Francisco, California. I apologize if I butchered that last name.
So apparently it's something to do with tech? Oh, user experience.
That makes sense. All right.
Janine.
Janine is getting a lot of hype, and I think it's for good reason.
I really like Janine. I really do.
I agree. I think she's gonna be a lot like Erica from 41. I don't know.
No, I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna take it Erica with better strategy.
Wow.
With a better strategic game.
All right.
To me, Erica's win, okay. It's very, up and down for me. I think part of it is the social game. She was very good socially, made very good relations with people.
Heather, yeah.
Was very difficult to vote against her. But strategically, she had good moves. But there were some moves that were harped upon a bit too much that were kind of just given to her, like the hourglass, that thank the lords above that is not coming back.
You did it, Survivor. You made a good decision.
Yeah, after making a fatal one.
Yeah.
I think I see Janine with a bit more strategic prowess, a bit more...
I think what Janine, if we're really comparing to Erica, I think what Janine lacks in physicality...
She makes up in strategy.
Exactly, because lest we forget, not only did Erica coast her way through the pre-merge on Luvu, which never lost, she won 3 individual immunities, which is nothing to, scoff at.
I think... Yeah, I think we're going to see a very similarity in the very good social game aspect. I think Janine's going to be a very good person socially, a very good player socially.
I think...
making some good relationships with other people.
I would not be surprised if she is our fire-making loser. I could see her going very far in this game.
And then getting thrown to fire.
And people are going to try and get her out. I think maybe she'll find an idol. Maybe I think she'll find her way to save herself for 2 or 3 weeks and then go out at Final Four. But I'm feeling
that's a really good prediction.
I'm feeling really good about Janine. And I think this next player might be my winner pick.
I'm with you.
30-year-old political science PhD from Durham, North Carolina, Jesse Lopez. Now, for those of you who have been keeping up with the advertisements for Survivor 43...
By the way, really quick, I want to say, sorry to cut you off, Ben, but we hate to be the kind of podcast to harp on winner edits again, but continue.
Jesse has been in every fucking advertisement for this season.
Now, okay, I would like to say, if there is, like, any other kind of, like, aside from edit, just on the person, how I think they're going to play the game, personally, and this is a bit of a long shot, but my final tribal / potential winner pick would be a Janine. It would have been Janine.
Yeah, I hate to harp on the edit because I'll be fully honest, I'm really, really bad at noticing winners' edits. Like, I didn't notice Marianne's winner edit until the move to get out Omer. I barely noticed Erica's winner edit, and so did the rest of America.
Yep.
But fully, like, there has been no escaping Jesse this preseason, so I see him as either a clear-as-day winner or a Jonathan-like figure where he's huge pre-merge, gets to the post-merge, and then gets fired out.
But do you know what else I see about Jesse?
Yeah.
I could see a Rick Devens out of him.
I have a feeling production really liked
Here's
Jesse
what I wrote for Jesse. Inspirational story comparable to, this is the one time that I confidently ever picked a Survivor winner and was very clearly correct. I've done it before, but I was always like worried making a pick. But this is the one and only time that I've been solidly, and really confident about a winner, and I got it right. And that was a season that I know this may piss you off. And that is Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers. That is Ben Driebergen. I am seeing a similarity in the intro edit to Ben Driebergen.
I don't hate that season. I just hate the ending.
So here's my thing. I'm seeing. I know.
Okay, that season it was bullshit.
But do you disagree? I am seeing a very big similarity. Survivor, editors and production really likes to harp on the inspirational stories, and the amount of times that I've heard, I was in a gang and then I got a PhD. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard that by now, but damn, I've heard it a lot, and I really do think.
And don't get me wrong, I like Jesse. I think he has really good odds coming into the season.
Ben. I really like Jesse.
Hope that it's not oversaturated. Fully, if I think in the opening, before the marooning, when all three tribes are coming in on the boats and they're introducing it.
Watch Jesse be in the front.
He probably no. I don't know if he'll be in the front, but he'll probably get his
He's gonna get an interview.
Exactly. So
he's gonna get an interview.
It's probably. I don't want to say it's obvious, but Survivor editors, you're making it real goddamn obvious that Jesse's going far. I think he's my winner pick, and I know that'll probably age like milk in 3 weeks, but I don't see him leaving anytime soon. All right.
I actually really like this next one, and it is, if I can, cybersecurity saleswoman, 29-year-old from Marina Del Rey, California, Justine Brennan. I like Justine, and here's what I'm seeing. If she can use, I think she's right in the sense that her perception will be underestimated. I do. Because a lot of times, people that are cast like her will get underestimated. I do. If that is the case, then I see something good in her. Do I see a winner? God, no. But with that said, I did compare this one to Michelle Fitzgerald.
I don't know. I think Michelle just has more personality.
No, I think Michelle's better. I think Michelle's better. I really like Michelle.
I'm not sold on Justine, really.
I like Justine, but I think early merge is my prediction for Justine.
I think early merge.
I think she'll be able to
early to mid merge.
I think she'll be able to use people's perception. If I am correct, about it, I think she'll be able to use people's perception of her to really coast under while also being able to make the correct moves enough to get to the merge where people will start to connect the puzzle pieces and finally figure out that she should go.
I sort of see her as like I think she'll join the majority alliance
Yes.
on Vezi.
Yes.
And I don't think she'll be like at all threatened over the first few weeks. And then I think once they hit the merge, I see her a lot like Danielle from Heroes versus Villains, where she was sort of voted out by Russell as a bit of a lackey to Parvati. I think
exactly.
I think that she's going to be the same
as a hindrance to her main alliance member. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that I'm not fully sold on Justine. I think highly of a lot of people on this cast, and I don't really think highly of Justine. I think she'll do good, but I'm just not like, she's not someone where I'm like, she's going out first, like she's not going to do well at this game, or on the other end where I'm like, she's a winner, she's got it in the bag. Like, I'm overall indifferent on Justine.
Yeah.
But I hope she proves me wrong. All right, next. 28-year-old educational project manager from Newark, Delaware, Carla Cruz-Godoy.
Can I?
Please.
I really like Carla.
I do too.
I think, here's what, for my notes, I have, for me, it's giving lovable villain. I think that we're gonna get some really snaky moves, some really underhanded moves, but in the best way possible.
I agree.
I think she's the kind of villain that we're gonna love to watch. I'm thinking, GameStop, I'm thinking maybe, let's say, Shan. I'm thinking Drea. Maybe -4. God damn advantages.
Carla is the kind of person to get the knowledge is power advantage and misplay it for a third season in a row.
But I really do. I like Carla because I think every season needs a good villain. A likable villain. The villain that you like to hate. And I think this season it's Carla. And the best part about it, I think she knows it.
Yeah,
she knows it.
Because I think, like, she had that quote in the original promo right after the 42 finale where she's like, there's nothing I would do to win. Which I think is a mentality she's really going to take. And I could see her going far, but she's very much like, I think her placement is flexible, like, you say James? James also had sort of like a flexible placement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not...
It's a matter... I mean, a lot of these, when we say, flexible, it's a matter of how early people figure out how this person's going to play. And it's unfortunate because also in the beginning stages, it's a lot about the social game.
I think she'll play a lot like Shan, but I think she'll be a bit less condescending than Shan.
Yeah.
So I could see her going mid-merge. I could see her being like a big pre-merge character, and then be a big target for the first few post-merge rounds until she's eventually out.
But I think if we go with what you just said, Ben, and then she makes it to that post-merge, and if she can make the right moves, we can see her go pretty far.
Yeah. She has potential. We just have to see what she does with it. All right. We have this name now for the second season in a row. 42-year-old pediatric nurse from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, which is actually a town I know. Very, very nice town. Shout out Downingtown. Lindsay Carmine. I think she is Heather, but just better.
Can you please read? I was going to ask you to read what I wrote.
Giving an upgraded strategy. Yep. Yeah.
I wrote, word for word, giving an upgraded strategically Heather from 41.
Folks, if you need another reason why Richard and I decided to do this podcast, there you fucking go.
Ben and I are on the same page.
We very much are.
A lot of things.
I'm really looking forward to Lindsay. I
am as well. I actually really like Lindsay. I really hope that this doesn't become Heather with, if you remember, Ben, me and Ben had a little bit when we watched Survivor 41.
We straight up clapped anytime Heather got screen
Every time Heather came on screen, and I mean literally to say even 3 goddamn words, me and Ben shushed the entire viewing party to listen to whatever that blessed woman had to say.
Because it was so rare.
And we would applaud like we just watched the Nutcracker Ballet. And we would yell, Heather screen time. And listen, this is nothing against Heather. We actually really like Heather.
I really like Heather.
It is a matter of the unfortunate reality of Survivor production really, really underusing Heather. And
my hope is that people on Coco, especially because Coco is maybe not the younger tribe, but like mainly Ryan and Cassidy, and I know we've mentioned Ryan. We'll get to Ryan. But, like, they're the younger members. I hope they just don't see her as, like, oh, she's the older woman, let's vote her off, which is honestly kind of a really bad trend in Survivor.
I think a really good, let's merge Heather's likability, and let's merge it with Katrina Radke's physicality. I think I see a good physical competitor out of her. Maybe not in the strength competition, but endurance competitions and such. I think she'll be really good.
Yeah. I think she's going to be a lot like Chrissy.
Yes.
From HHH.
Yes. That's what I was looking for.
I think she's going to go surprisingly far after suffering a setback early in the game. I think she'll make the end game maybe like Final 7, Final 6.
Yes. But I think Lindsay will be, again, underestimated.
I agree.
And I think unlike Justine, I think she's going to use it to her advantage in a very, very good way. Like, I think Justine will be able to use it to take her as far as we predicted her to go, but I think Lindsay will be able to take it even farther to a distance that we just mentioned, Chrissy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next.
I'm excited for this one.
Oh boy, 51-year-old heart valve specialist from Meridian, Idaho, I think it is. Mike Gabler.
Gabler.
I think he's first out on Baka.
I am agreeing with you, but damn, I like Gabler.
He's gonna be an amazing character. With that said, he's not making the merge.
The character, not the player, but the character.
Him and his exceptionally long nose.
It's giving me, read that name.
That would be Keith Nail.
Character-wise, I'm seeing Keith Nail. I really do like Gabler. But I'm thinking probably Keith with more strategy.
Yes, I think... But that's the thing, though. I think whereas Keith laid low and really got by in his words, sticking to the plan and winning immunity challenges.
Yeah. Stick to the plan!
I say stick to the plan. I think Gabler's going to completely overplay his hand.
Yep.
I could see him being one of the first, if not the first out on Baka. But with that said, I could also see him being part of that kind of core 4 alliance and getting the merge.
No, for sure. Agreed.
So, Gabler, I think, is one of the biggest... I think, like, Gabler and Gio are two of the biggest wild cards this season.
Yeah. I think I might throw James in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna go. But it's all... okay. These three, I think, are the types that it really depends how they play their hand in the early stages of the game. Whether they join that big alliance or not. Whether they decide to be flashy or if they decide to play it or downplay it and play it back.
Gabler rubs me as someone who has wanted to play Survivor for a long time, and I think he thinks that it's like not his only shot, but it could be his only shot to do it.
Tarzan.
So, I don't like mentioning One World on this podcast.
Fair enough.
It is not my least favorite season because I love Kim.
I love Kim.
With that said, fuck One World, dude. I hate that season so much.
Fair enough.
But I could see Gabler. Gabler, I think his ceiling is very early merge.
Yeah. Because I think he, like, even when it gets to that point where alliance members need to start picking each other off, I think he'll be very early in that list.
Yes, I just thought of a joke for this next person.
I'm excited for this one.
A teacher, 28 years old, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and surprisingly not an Abbott Elementary character, Mariah Young. She is this season's Marianne.
Guess what I wrote? I'm giving Marianne.
She is that fun, ball of energy type character that I think everyone's
scares me to death.
Yup. And I think everyone's going to underestimate the fuck out of her.
No. I agree that they'll underestimate her, but she scares me to death because I don't think I can put a solidified placement on her. For sure, definitely not early. For sure, definitely not. I think merge. Where in merge? Frick knows. I think she'll make it to merge, and it's another one of those where it will come down to when people will figure out the game she is playing.
Yep. I think they're going to find it out. I could see her, if Survivor does the sort of double elimination twist where, like, it's two separate groups and, you know, one wins immunity.
Oh, yeah.
They win immunity and all that. I could see her being a casualty of that, which honestly is pretty good. Like, I hope Mariah goes far. I really like her, and she seems like a very fun person to have on the cast. So I'm just hoping she sticks around for longer than we think.
True.
I don't see her making the end game, but I can see her making the match.
I think it's really perfect that these two names are one next to the other.
Do you want to take the next one then?
Yeah, then let's introduce 43-year-old pharmacist from Weatherford, Texas, NECA Jerry. I really hope I did not butcher that name.
Yeah.
I apologize if I did.
I think she's the first out on Vezi, because where I think...
Yes, but I have to say, I really like NECA. Very good energy, very positive, very smiley, which is... It's nice to have those characters. I think Mariah and NECA both give that energy, and I think it's really nice to see, you know, that kind of like very fun, bubbly personality. And I think they're going to do really well, like Marianne did, with kind of bantering with Probes and giving some good entertainment on that side of things.
I think NECA is going to be a lot like Mariah from Survivor 42.
Yes.
As she, I think, is going to be sort of like a choice from her tribe. Like, who do we vote out? Like, do we vote out, let's just use a random name, the Cody, yes. I think they're going to be a lot like, who do we vote out? Cody, who's a bit more off the wall but can be more loyal, or NECA, who is more mature but could be more of a strategic wild card. She kind of gives me a more, like, chill Natalie Cole style vibe, where she'll want to take sort of, like, a leadership role, and that could backfire.
No, that's
that could
fair.
work. I don't know.
And what I wrote, okay, I think she's going to have a really great social game, which is really important in those early stages of the game, as we know, because a lot of it will come down to that. Let's say that, if I'm not mistaken, Vezi, right? If Vezi's the first tribe to go to tribal council, I can very well see it coming down to, oh, do we take NECA out? Oh no, but she's really nice, and that kind of side.
So the way I see NECA succeeding is if she aligns with the, again, quote unquote, more mature people on her tribe, mainly Jesse and Justine, as I think they'll be able to connect with her more than Cody, Dwight. The only wild card is the next name on the list. Should we go through this?
Really quick, I do have to say this.
I was gonna say sick transition.
I think it's really... I think the worst move she could make is try to approach Dwight. I don't think that they'll vibe well, but what I do see in a NECA-Dwight relationship is the Malcolm to the Denise.
I was just about to say that, because it feels...
That is the only way this works, but the question is, if that does happen, will they realize it? The only really move where I don't see anything positive coming out of it is if she goes for Cody. If she tries to work with Cody.
Yeah.
If she tries to work with Cody, I don't see that working. If she goes for Dwight, it's a matter of how they both approach the alliance. If they approach the alliance in the way that I just said that they would,
I think
like
Cody's going to be a
Malcolm
lot like Reem from Edge of Extinction, where he
Yup.
goes out so early and everyone immediately wants him back in the game.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I think, I agree.
So, again, when it comes to alignment for NECA, I don't know about this next person, because, again, sick transition. The last person on the Vezi tribe, 25-year-old Paralympian from Manchester, New Hampshire, Noelle Lambert.
This is the other really, like, inspirational edit that you're going to see on this season.
I think she goes out Final 5.
Yes. What I think, super likable. From both an audience standpoint and from a player standpoint. I think she'll be very likable. I think she'll make very good social moves, very good relationships with other people. I'm curious to see how she plays this the strategic part of the game. I think if I'm looking at Noelle, in my opinion, I think her best move is to go to Justine.
Yes, I would agree. I think
if she partners up with Justine, I think that will make a really, really strong duo. Two people that are strong physically, but can be, in a way, underestimated. So I think, honestly, looking at this Vezi tribe, I do see Cody and potentially NECA on the outs, which is why I have Cody so dang low. I think Vezi is a strong tribe physically. I'm seeing this right here, Justine, Noelle, and I think Jesse. I think they'll be really strong physically. But yeah, I like Noelle. I agree with you. I think she's going to make a deep run. Very likable. Just curious to see what her strategic gameplay plan is going to be.
Yes, I think Noelle's strategy is going to be, I think, a bit of a deciding factor on Vezi, and I think she's going to dictate a lot of their tribal game, but I think that she'll be able to handle it well, and I'm excited to see what she brings to the table.
Yep.
I am very excited about this next guy. I don't think he's going to win, but god damn it, I love him.
So do I. Yeah, go ahead.
29-year-old college admissions director from New Orleans, Owen Knight. This dude has the best energy on the cast. I love him.
100% agreed. The way he talked about his long hair and then compared it to Wu and Malcolm, real big super fan. I have to say his backstory is a real soft spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is... I'm trying to figure out how much I want to reveal about myself, but I think this is enough. Because, I mean, we'll do face reveals eventually at some point. We'll get there. But as another... You know, as somebody who is from Korea and was adopted, I see a lot... I have a soft spot for Owen and his story and the way he wants to play this game. Super fan, coming from a background that's kind of, not to say unusual, but like, how many people are, you know, Korean and adopted and whatnot. I liked who he chose for his Survivor inspiration.
Yeah, like comparison picks.
Which I don't know if you remember who it is. It's Adam Klein. He
Respect.
chose Adam, which I really like. Superfan, he talked about how Adam kept his threat level low and had good relationships with people, which is a really big part of, I think was a really big part of Adam's game. He made very smart moves while not making himself a big target.
Yeah.
But great energy. And yeah, I really do like Owen.
I think he's going to be a very endearing castaway. I think his tribe is going to love him. I think he's going to be a super friendly guy. I think he's going to be very well liked. And I think people are going to be unhappy voting him out and see it just very much as a strategic move.
Yes.
If there was an America's favorite player this season, I think he's going to win it. Because
I would put on him or Mariah.
Yes.
They have really great energy.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited to see
Yeah.
him. All right, next.
I like this next one.
I like this next one, but it worries me, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, same here. I think we have the same worry.
24-year-old warehouse associate from El Paso, Texas, Ryan Medrano. Please, for the love of God, do not be Zach. Do not be JD.
Yes.
Do not be the young super fan that flames out early. Because I really like Ryan. He's a friendly guy. Winning smile, I'll tell you that much. I think I loved his Survivor comparison picks because Rupert is maybe not the best Survivor player, but definitely one like you can aspire to be Rupert, you know. I really like Ryan.
I think the Rupert pick is the likability, and he talked about providing for the tribe. That was Rupert.
Yeah.
Rupert's game was a lot of the social aspect, and he was so likable to the fans. Like, there are some people, like, I don't know if there's anybody who disliked Rupert.
Mm-hmm.
And I do see that in him, and I had the same exact worry as you. He's a super fan. It worries me, but yeah.
I think he'll go far. I think he's going to be a big asset on his tribe. I just hope that he doesn't flame out.
Yeah.
Because I really like him.
I want to introduce this next one.
Go ahead.
The last one. Because I said weird, really, really freaking weird occupations. And goddamn, this one might take the cake. 19-year-old, about to turn 20.
Good for him.
Pet cremator from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sammy Liotti. I'm sorry. Can I take 5 seconds to riff off of the topic? How are you 19 years old and you are a goddamn pet cremator? Like, how do you get into the profession? Like, that's gotta be a family business. Like, that's fucked up, but that's gotta be a family business. Like, how are you a 19-year-old pet cremator? Like, damn.
I am already mentally prepared for Sammy to just completely overplay his hand.
Yep.
Like, I think he's a fun guy. I think he's going to do well for a bit, but I think, like, he is going to be overplaying so much.
But the other one the other side that I will mention is that he seems to be aware of people's perception of him being the young one that will overplay his hand. I'm hoping that awareness, that self-awareness will kick in and, reverse itself.
Yeah.
Because it can. It totally can.
Here's the thing. I am weary of all, like, young sort of super fan types. Like, I'm weary of Ryan, and I'm weary of... Sammy, just because of guys like JD and Zach, who were voted out so early because they way overplayed. Then again, Zach didn't really overplay it. He just kind of put the blame on himself. But either way,
that's true.
Either way.
But yeah, so I want to talk about this really quickly. The twists and changes that are confirmed to not happen and that are confirmed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the confirmed to not happen is the hourglass advantage and the do or die advantages. Those two twists will not come back. Let's just quickly, for those who do not know what those were, the hourglass advantage.
Thank fucking God.
Thank God that thing is gone. So the hourglass advantage was basically... Do you want to describe it? Because I think you'll do a better job than
the hourglass advantage?
Yes.
All right, so this is something that I don't know if they're going to keep this season, but...
No,
Well, let me start.
Yeah.
Earning your way into the merge. Jeff... It happened at Final 12. Jeff split up everyone, 5 people on one team, 5 people on another, and then 2 people sitting out. The winner of this challenge would get the merge buff, would get the merge feast, and then they would pick one of the 2 people that weren't picked to go with them to the merge, and then another person, and then the other person would go to Exile Island. Then that person at Exile Island would have the chance to smash an hourglass, which would make the winning team lose, the losing team win, and then make the winning team compete in the first individual immunity challenge and not be safe going into that first tribal council.
So reverse history, essentially. Yes. Thank goodness this thing is gone. Okay. This advantage is, in my opinion, the sole one move that solidified Erica's win in 41.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, if there was one thing, like, not to say that she didn't do anything else, because she did do other things that were really good moves, but if there was one thing that I think solidified it, it was this. And what annoys me about it is that it is a sole matter of circumstance. Like, I don't think it's fair because, let's use 41 for example, Xander couldn't just walk in and do it. Danny, Deshaun, these guys couldn't just walk in and do it. You had to be at the right place in the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think sets a bad precedent for the game. This game at its bare bones is supposed to be strategy. Social game strategy and physical game, the thing we talk about. And it's about people making decisions that can alter the game as a whole. And while this fits that, my idea when I say decisions that alter the course of the game, I mean decisions that you single-handedly have to make, that you have the choice to make.
Self-autonomy, basically.
Self-autonomy. Not, wow, you're going to get this opportunity and no one else will.
Yeah.
That's why the button in BB16 worked. That's why it worked. Because anyone had the opportunity to go in that room and hit that button.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, Frankie, because you're HOH, you get to do it. Or, oh, Cody, because you're, or whatever. It wasn't circumstantial.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to use the hourglass twist effectively, it should have been open to anyone on the losing team.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one individual.
I
it
agree.
makes the game way too...
They tried to rectify that.
It's not gonna work!
In 42 and be like, oh, you can change out so that someone else can get the power.
Hell no!
I don't know. It's not coming back, and thank God it isn't. However, I don't know if they're going to keep the whole earning your way into the merge thing, which personally, I like. I don't think it's that bad.
Really?
The hourglass fucked it over, but I kind of like the idea of earning your way into the merge. That's just me.
Okay.
And then the other twist that isn't coming back for this season is the do or die twist, which was basically just the Monty Hall problem, where if you picked 2 If you picked one of the 2 wrong boxes out of 3, you were voted out with no vote, do not pass go, do not collect $200.
It was honestly aggravating. And honestly, thank God we did not lose anyone to that twist.
Yes?
Because that would have been so stupid if we lost someone to that twist of all things.
I agree.
But the twists that are staying, it is going to be a shortened game. I'm really curious to see if that stays the same, if this is the new thing.
I think
26 days.
I think it is.
No food rations, limited supplies.
That's fine.
I honestly, if we're looking at this from a player standpoint and not the audience standpoint, I really wish they had kept, the bag of rice.
I don't know. I kind of like it. I think it goes back to what the series was about originally with survival. It's kind of in the name of the show. I'm okay with it, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Shot in the Dark is coming back, which I really like.
I like Shot in the Dark. That was the one thing that they did that they added in 41 and 42 that I was actually on board with.
Mm-hmm. Even though it was never used correctly, which I think is kind of funny as shit.
I would like it to be used correctly once this season.
The day it's used correctly, everyone's going to lose their mind, and it's going to
honestly, and the fact that it didn't happen in the first 2 seasons of its use, I think is really fitting, because I think now, 3rd season, 3rd time's the charm, let's get it going. Come on, I'm on the train of it happening once, at
The
least.
Shrunk Hype Train, as it was. They're coming back with a new one, and I'm so excited.
I want to hear, before I go to this next one, I want to hear who you think it's going to be.
Someone on the original... Okay, alright, so let me... for the great viewers at home that don't know...
For the record, me and Ben are big fans of this Reddit chain, and
I unfortunately frequent...
We watch this every single week.
I unfortunately frequent Survivor Reddit because I'm very bored in my classes. And so one person preseason, 42, decided, I'm not seeing a lot of hype for this player, so I'm going to make one. Welcome to the Daniel Strunk hype train. And it was the most glorious thing I've seen for 13 weeks. It was just total chaos of this photoshopped image of Daniel Strunk from Survivor 42 and his head on a train, and just how much bullshit they can add on week after week. And the person who did it said they're going to come back with a new one, and this is the one I hope it actually does.
Not to sound like an idiot really quickly, Strunk was 42, right?
Strunk was 42, yes.
Yeah,
he was the last person voted out before the
yeah.
merge.
Go ahead. Who do you think it's going to be?
So, this is someone else commented. I'm just repeating it because I think it's funny as shit. Austenmacher Airways.
I was thinking of the same person.
Because that's so goddamn funny.
But I think, here's the thing. I think, honestly, the first time we heard the words in a combination of Shrunk Hype Train, it's not alliteration like Austenmacher Airways.
It's just, Strunk is kind of a funny last name as it is. But just, oh my god, it was a lot, and I loved it.
It's a matter of who do we see being the Daniel Strunk of this
who is someone that is not getting a ton of hype? I could see Gabler being picked, James,
No.
Gio. Gio's good.
I want to see, I'm trying to think of a good name for this.
Because it's not going to be a train. It's going to be a boat or a plane or a car or something.
Oh my gosh. Madrano Motorsport.
Yeah.
I can see it
That's
being
so
Ryan.
good.
I can see it being Ryan, honestly. He's not getting too much hype. He's just likable because he's a super fan. But I
That'd
think...
be really funny.
I'm thinking of who's not getting much hype, and you know what? We need to bring... Hold on. We need to bring the women into this, because I think I want to give it up. I really think...
Can Mariah get one?
That'd be great, but I really think that it might be, maybe Janine or Justine.
Justine, I feel like.
Justine might. I'm really curious to see what happens. I'm excited for what happens.
Me too. And I think that that can be said for the whole season.
Yeah.
As a whole.
But overall, what do we think? Like, final remarks on this season, and what are we looking forward to?
Final remarks on Survivor 43 is I think this is the true test for the future of Survivor.
Yes.
Because I think 41 was very much hindered by the fact that it was the first season after COVID.
They changed too much too quickly. That was my issue.
They were throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck, and some things stuck, some things didn't.
No, not even, like, half of the things fell immediately. The hourglass fell.
But 42
redeemed it a lot.
Proved that Survivor can still be of amazing quality. So I'm interested to see how 43 is going to be, and I'm hoping for the best because I do love this show, and I want the best for this show. And I like the cast, and I'm looking forward to see what this season has to offer.
I think that's a great book, and I couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you guys for listening, and we're very excited. Next time you hear our voices, it will be
Survivor 43 episode 1 review, and if the girls are back, Amazing Race 34 episode 1 review.
But yeah.
And I think, and that'll be coming up on the coattails of the Big Brother 24 finale. So we got a lot of fun reality content coming your way.
I think there's no better way to end it.
Yeah, I would agree. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week.